Us is a new horror movie directed and written by Jordan Peele. I saw it about 2 weeks ago on opening night as of recording this video, and overall I enjoyed it a lot. Now, I might be coming at this from a little bit of a different perspective because I haven't actually seen Get Out yet. I plan on watching it soon. I just need to get my hands on a Blu-ray copy. Going into this movie, I wasn't quite sure what I was expecting. I knew it was probably going to be pretty scary. I'm relatively new to horror movies. Just growing up, it never really was my thing. I was a little bit of a scaredy cat. But I've since kind of gotten out of that, and now I just kind of approach horror movies like I do any other movie. If it looks cool, if I think it looks interesting, then I'll probably end up going and seeing it. Us is actually sort of an amalgamation of horror genres. I don't really know what you would classify it as. Like, there's a little bit of home invasion, a little bit of psychological, a little bit of like science-y kind of things. So it has a big mix of everything. Doppelgangers coming and terrorizing people. I think it's a really good premise for a horror movie and not really one that I've seen anywhere else. Probably the two standout things about Us that I enjoyed the most are the performances and also the cinematography. All the actors, main and supporting, did a great job on all of their roles. They had pretty much had to do double characters because of all their doppelgangers, so I thought it was really well acted, and they really did feel like different people when you're looking at the one group versus the doppelganger group. And the other really astounding thing that I liked was the cinematography. I'm sure I'll find out when I watch Get Out if that's sort of Jordan Peele's style, is to go for really striking images, but there's a lot of scenes in this movie that just look beautiful on the screen. One that I believe is in the trailers of the doppelganger family in the driveway, and they're all silhouetted from the back, and that just, it looks great. It's a pretty big oh shit moment, and it looks so great. And a lot of scenes in the movie going along with the cinematography just give you that unease based on how they're shot. Another big moment from one of the trailers is this guy who's just standing with his arms out, sort of like a T-pose, on the beach. And normally that's not that creepy, I guess, but it's just the way that it's framed and the stillness of everything. It does a really good job of creeping you out at a lot of different parts. Some of the problems that I have with Us mainly come from the explanation side of things. So, for the most part, I buy into what they're showing in the movie. But there was just times towards the end and after my initial viewing that I would text my friends. I went with a big group of people, and I would just like ask certain questions because of things that happen in the movie. It leaves some things answered and some things without an answer that I feel should be answered. So overall, those lingering questions and things that just didn't really make sense to me sort of hold me back from saying it's like an A+ amazing movie. And for a horror movie, I thought Us was pretty restrained in terms of its violence. There's definitely a couple moments and a couple brutal kills, but a lot of the like gore that I expected to see was oftentimes hidden with creative ways. I won't spoil a whole lot, but like a lot of times, say if someone was gonna die, it would be really far away from the camera, it would be hidden in shadow, so you don't really get the full emphasis of what's happening. It leaves a lot up to your imagination, and for some people that makes the gore or kills more violent or more disgusting when you don't actually see anything. I'm neither here nor there. I thought it was done tastefully, and it just kind of surprised me. I was thinking, like, I was gearing up for a horror movie to be like, yeah, there's gonna be blood everywhere and stuff, but there's only really like one or two moments where that's really the case. I think it's incredibly impressive that Jordan Peele was able to elicit certain emotions and feelings without showing like disgusting, intense violence. I thought the movie was paced really well. As an editor myself, that's something that I try to pay attention to in movies that I go see nowadays, and I really like the overall pace. There is a sort of mind game element that you play while the movie is progressing. They show some things out of order or out of sequence, and you try to piece it together in the end. And it wasn't exactly going where I was expecting it to go, but there were hints and pieces along the way that I was picking up on that if I go in for a second viewing, I'm sure it'll be really, really obvious what they're kind of going for. I think it was handled pretty well. Caught me off guard at the end, and a lot of other people in the theater that I was seeing it with. I thought the sound design was really awesome in this movie. The music, the score, everything was great. And I think the production design is another pretty big thing that I was really impressed with. I mean, obviously you see in the trailers that they have these red suits and the gold scissors are like a big part of these doppelgangers that come after everybody. And I think that's really unique. It's symbolic for a lot of the messaging in the movie, but also just on a pure physical level, I can't think of any other movie really where people are attacking people with scissors in this way. So it just stands apart to be unique in its own, just purely based on what you're looking at. And this sort of goes back to the cinematography, but also just the framing and the construction of the shots. At a certain point, sort of elicited like Kubrick kind of vibes for me. I can't spoil anything because it's important to the story, basically. But towards the last 10 to 15 minutes, for anybody who's seen the movie, that entire sequence in a certain place, I got really strong Kubrick vibes from it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was probably that and the beginning part were my favorite parts of the entire movie. So yeah, definitely go see Us. It definitely has commentary on our society as a whole, which I think is probably going to be incorporated into a lot of Jordan Peele's work. From what I've heard about Get Out, it's definitely even more so present in that film as it is in this one. But I think it's a really interesting movie, and I think if you go see it, you'll have a great time just trying to piece together the movie. Some things of it won't make sense, so if you're paying attention too closely to how the world works, you might not enjoy it as much. In terms of just an interesting horror movie, I think it's great, and I think it's definitely worth the money to go see in theaters.